After having over 3,000 plus hours on Billy, a lot of people still ask me the following questions. What are the best add-ons for starters? Is Lopro Chains an underrated add-on? Is Pighouse Gloves still viable? How effective are the overheat add-ons? And more and more. There is only one way to debunk all of this, and that is by creating my own Billy add-on tier list. Just a warning that this add-on tier list is going to be unbiased from other tier lists made by different creators, so some of these suggestions made by me may sound crazy for most folks, or beneficial for others. But anyways, this is Uncle Stambana, and here is my official Billy add-on tier list for 2023. So we're going to start off with steel toe boots, and I mean, I've said this before, steel toe boots, the thing with this add-on is that it usually is more beginners friendly, but you barely notice the value with it, even especially in like really good games. That is actually why I'm going to put it on D tier, because if you're playing against like normal survivors, like bad survivors, I think this add-on's pretty nice. I think this add-on's like very, very well for that. But good survivors, I don't think this is the type of add-on that you would run regularly. This is like very self-explanatory. Like you probably wouldn't even run this add-on as much because you're gonna bump, but you barely see the value of steel toe boots as a brown add-on that's like the small amount of bumping. Okay, so the next one is going to be speed limiter. So speed limiter, this add-on usually injures the survivor instead of like instant downing them, while also increasing overheat if you keep sawing. So if you want to utilize this add-on, you might as well only just chainsaw for distance and swing on survivors under contact. That being said though, everybody knows that this add-on is completely F tier. This add-on is like the worst killer add-on in Dead by Daylight. This explains itself though. And now, Junkyard air filter. Before I do Junkyard air filter, I want to watch a video quick. I'm going to just show this old video that Otz made with the Hillbilly overheating add-on comparison. Someone told me that this add-on can be really nice, but this add-on honestly just does like way more though technically. If you look at this, like with no add-ons, you kind of overheat a lot more. When you have like the Junkyard air filter, it does way more. So as this keeps up though, the overheat still goes really high regardless of it cooling down anyways. But the big thing with this add-on doesn't increase the overheat limit as you're revving. If you usually saw less, then it's helpful, but otherwise, if you saw a lot, I think probably this add-on is more choosable. This is actually the big take. Like these two are completely debatable for me. Like this is the hardest one I had. We need to think about these two. These ones we're saving for later. We're definitely saving these for later. This add-on is very beginners friendly, but it wouldn't be one that you would use in the long run for like going against high skill survivors. I think like against like bad survivors or like medium skill, this add-on can be pretty nice because it usually decreases the collision zone anyways. I mean, like you could literally play wide and not have to worry about collisions anyways. I'm not gonna lie, I would actually put it as D tier. Off-brand motor oil, this only lowers the sound of your chainsaw. This I'm also just gonna put as D tier because all it does is literally lower the chainsaw sound. It doesn't like make it lower like so much. But I'd say like as an average Billy, like a current Billy wouldn't even run this, but even an average Billy, maybe an average Billy, they could probably just like give this a go, but this is just more of like if you just don't want to hear the sound. Okay, death engravings. So it increases your movement speed by 15% and charge time doesn't even matter. Like I want to put this as A tier, but I have to see if it's like as good or better. Increase like making it harder to overheat using at least a single engraving is very, very huge. That being said though, I'd actually put this as A tier. I think this add-on is like really, really great. I think this add-on would be perfect to run like consistently. Like this add-on would be really great to run consistently. I would actually put it as A tier for sure. Dad's boots though. This add-on is a good add-on. You turn a lot and there's no penalty though. Because like it's got use. This add-on's definitely got use. It's not really good for curving. Against good survivors, I think Dad's boots can do some work. I'll probably put it as C tier. It has viability on it. You can actually get like some lucky turns with it easily. And if you play Q&E Billy, I think it's really nice. Now, Big Buckle. Before I actually mention what I want to say about Big Buckle, let me actually say the definition of this, and I'm going to actually correct it and say what it actually means. So Big Buckle, it literally decreases your tear radius by 8 meters when the chainsaw is overheated. What this means is when your chainsaw is 100%, your tear radius decreases by like 8 meters. And when you're fully overheated, that means you only M1 every single time. And the average Billy doesn't try to like fully force themselves to get overheated. This add-on is F tier. This add-on's completely F tier. Like this add-on's really bad. This is like you compare this to like Pighouse Gloves. Like Pighouse Gloves, it has 2 perks on it. This has a lower tear radius. This still, yeah, it's still better than speed limiter, but like this is really useless. This add-on here, this is the stronger version of steel toe boots. I think this add-on can do so much, but it feels way more better beginners friendly. I have to debate between B or C because it's so, if you run this by itself, it's really noticeable. I'd say I'd put it at C. Yeah, no, I put it at C. I think this add-on's actually C tier. Because even if you're going against like low skill, medium skill, or high skill survivors, you can still catch up. Like you can try to recover from like one little accident of it. Oh, here's the best part too. If you go against really good survivors with the low kickback chains, and if you choose to bump instead of like letting go of your saw while they try to W game to the opposite direction, this add-on can actually do a lot of value for it. But it's not really as great. Like it's not as good as B tier. Like I wish I could put it as B tier, but it definitely feels C. Mother's Helpers. Mother's Helpers actually increases the chainsaw charge speed by 18% for 30 seconds after being stunned by a pallet. Mother's Helpers is basically 30 seconds of insta-saw, but you have to get stunned. And some survivors are going to probably choose to not stun you at all, but you need enduring. And I think because you need enduring with it, I would want to put this as B tier, but I'm going to put this as C tier. I think the perk reliancy with enduring is why I gotta put as C tier though, for sure. The next one is Leafy Mash. I've actually ran this out on maybe 15 to 20 times. The undetectable stats for 15 seconds after landing a chainsaw hit. You have to hit a survivor for this. But yeah, no, a Leafy Mash, literally, you have to hit a survivor and it gives you 15 seconds of undetectable. That being said, in the average game, it's somewhere between D or F. But for viability, even against like high skill, okay, you know what? We're going with D. We got to go with D. It's not completely useless because you can probably M1 somebody if they're injured in a situation. It usually matters on the situation though, but I'd go with D. Like this is definitely D tier. All right, now everyone's favorite part. Everyone's favorite part. The moment you guys have been waiting for. Doom Engravings. So like I said before, it's just like Death Engravings. This add-on will, 1, make you do less overheat. 2, you go way more faster than this add-on. And then the third biggest thing about this, add-on is the fact that it actually allows you to like go for easier curves and cut off time before someone can actually try to dodge. This add-on completely is just S tier. People wonder why I put this as A tier. The reason why I put this as A tier is because like it's a little slightly slow, but this add-on can make you go from being like a basic back rev billy to like a curve billy, but on top of it, you can actually mess up strong survivors. And plus, like my biggest take is if you run the Doom Engraving with any of these add-ons, I would push them up a tier. Run Doom Engravings with any other add-on and your billy becomes like incredibly strong. I think honestly in the high skill level, this add-on has to be run every single time. Okay, and now we're gonna do this add-on. Increases chainsaw charge speed by 18% for 30 seconds after being blinded. It requires a flashlight and a flashbang. Like these are a must. Like you need flashlights and flashbangs. Like if you don't see the item, like it's not really gonna really do as much. This would normally just go B tier because it has no overheat changing. But if it requires flashlights though, it's got to be somewhere between C or D. Yeah, you know what? Change of plans. I would honestly, yeah, I'd say honestly D tier because 1, you have to get blinded. And most of the times when you're Billy, you can actually try to bait blinding in any way and you have to force yourself to get moth. And most of the time trying to like break a pallet, you really don't get blinded as much. Okay, this is another one that I get debated about quite a lot. Yes, if anybody doesn't know what Carberator does, this basically gives you a bit more insta-saw and you move into 4.4 movement speed. Just say, is Carberator a good add-on? And I always tell them yes and no at the same time. If you run Carberator with a Doom Engraving, this would actually make Billy quite strong, but you probably need Superior Anatomy or Bamboozle. You need one of those two, but it would also require a perk. And then having this add-on with getting stunned would also require a perk. I want to actually put this as B tier, really. This add-on relies on another add-on to make it work. This one deals with less overheat than usual because you're sawing more quickly, and having it with like a Death Engraving or a Doom Engraving can do so much work. I think Carberator, it fits best for B tier. Play with food with this can actually make a really good back rev billy. This with Play with the Food, that's actually really nice. Like I think you could probably run it in like a bit of the high skill level, but you won't really curve though. Like sadly, there'll be less curves and you're just trying to play for like what's the word, back revs. With Spike Boots is a stronger version of Dad's Boots. Q&E Billy with Spike Boots, I think you can actually manage it very well. But say you're trying to like curve somebody with this add-on, one small bump can you up even more than usual. I think this would be okay. Spike Boots, I think this, like, despite the penalty, if you know how to Q&E efficiently with Spike Boots, I think it's good for B tier. The green chain is like 28%. spike boots can f up at least 28%. So if you run these two add-ons together, it's basically dad's boots but stronger. Being said, yeah, no, it's good. It's good at B. I think it's good at B. Now we're actually dealing with Pighouse Gloves. Pighouse Gloves is almost the same thing as this add-on. The problem though is you pretty much would have to like force overheat every single time. Like it's the same thing. You might like this comes with two perks. It comes with built-in enduring and built-in brutal for a limited amount of time. Survivors already know when you're overheated regardless. I'd say definitely D tier, but like I'd say this add-on right here, I'd say Pighouse Gloves is definitely stronger than this is stronger than like these three. Okay, now we go to Lopro Chains. This is one of my favorite add-ons because if you guys have seen the clips, the compilation, you can actually 180 flick it, but that doesn't matter. The point with this add-on, you basically can break through pallets, but Doom Lopro, these two add-ons together will literally be the strongest Billy add-on combo for sure. I think with Doom Engravings, it pushes to S tier. I think this add-on is definitely A tier. Say you curve and you can't control hitting the pallet in some way, like this is stronger than this add-on because this comes with a very slight penalty, and injuring Survivor can be totally worth it since you can go for a swing. The Area Brick add-on, this one's going to be interesting. Area Brick add-on, after maintaining a chainsaw sprint for 2 seconds, it grants you undetectable until the chainsaw sprint ends. This add-on requires no curving in any sort of way. And you can go for a nice cross map. This is like as good as like spike boots, but you're not really turning as much, and you probably might have to just run like spike boots regardless of it, or you might have to use like this add-on, and I'll explain this add-on kind of later though. But I wouldn't say you would run it a lot. I think this add-on is probably just low C, high B, but I'd go with more C related. With this add-on is more map reliant, and also add-on reliant, and slightly perk reliant, like all those three together. If we're doing all these three. If it requires maps though, and considering with how Behavior's been making their maps, and you'd have to go for cross maps to make it work, I gotta drop it. I gotta drop it to low D, high C. I'll put it as D tier because you know how Behavior is when they make their maps. I don't think this add-on really does too much. Apex Muffler. This add-on is completely perk reliant. You need undetectable perks. Like if anyone saw my Silent Billy video, this add-on is completely perk reliant, but it is really good. But I would say for sure like this is actually B tier for me. Bottom B, top C. Yeah, like I think with the right perks, it's gimmicky. So the fun catch about this add-on is if you ever go against this add-on with undetectable perks, or like just like having no terror radius, your chainsaw becomes completely silent. If you go against this, it's really hard to know if a Billy's chasing you. Like honestly, you could turn Billy into the strongest stealth killer in the entire game, like even stronger than like probably Wraith or like everybody else. But it also requires some maps in some way too. Actually, it doesn't even require any maps. You could literally do this in an indoor map. What am I saying? No, you could literally do this in an indoor map and it still works out. I think this add-on is definitely B tier. This add-on's not B tier. I think this add-on is probably higher C tier because it requires like forced perks. You can't run this with anything else. You like if we're talking like Death Engraving, Lopro Chains, you could run this with like anything. You could literally run this with anything and like what's the word? It can actually work fine. This requires perks though. This is if you run this with the right stuff, like this thing can be very strong. So if anybody, I think most of you guys didn't really see this. I pulled this video up just to show how good both these two add-ons are. This is like the old video from us. I really think both of these add-ons might have to stay in the same tier. This is why I put these two as last. Like, to anybody watching this on YouTube in any way, if I ever put this part in the video, dude, it's so hard because you literally could do both and it's just does the same thing. These two literally stay in the same tier. It's stronger than Dad's Boots for sure. It's stronger than this add-on. It's stronger than this add-on. It's not even perk reliant as well. It's stronger than this too. It's stronger than this one. It's stronger than this one. I'm gonna be honest, both of these two, I already know. These both go in A tier. I think these both go in A tier. So like we're chaining up. This is not the final tier list yet. Anything that's behind is weaker. So F tier, this is legit. Steel toe boots, you barely notice it, so it definitely stays back. This stays back. This stays back. This is strong. If this one's very noticeable, this has to stay back. So I think maybe D tier might be completely legit. And then this one is map reliant and perk reliant and everything else reliant. So I'd say, you know, somewhat near C. So like this actually could work out. In that case, I would actually, I think probably higher B then. They're both equal, but probably higher B. I think this add-on, I think low kickback chains is stronger than Dad's Boots. I think low kickback chains is stronger than Dad's Boots. This add-on, it makes you kind of do, it's like limited time though. It's all splitting hairs after Engravings and Lopro, everything else is everything else we can already confirm, like this goes here. Wait a minute. This could do so much, but it requires perks and add-ons. This can also do a lot. I mean, this doesn't do as much, but it's not reliant. I'll push this back. I think Pig's Muffler deserves to stay here. This one requires perks as well. Could it make the strongest Billy build in the high skill level though? I kind of disagree because it requires pallets, and say if the pallets go away, you don't really use as much. So I would literally push this back. I think this might be it. This could do a lot with the right add-ons. This can honestly do so much with the right add-ons. Crack Billy, it may require perks though. This one, if you're a master at it, you don't bump as much. I'm having so much trouble trying to choose how do I deal with these overheat add-ons. This one literally is going to make me pull my hair out. Oh my god. I think I could probably drop it to this side. But this is like low. If we're using Tune Carberator, we come with a lower movement speed. But with the right add-ons, it can do so much. Like even Crack Billy can do so much with the right perks and stuff. This one though is like it requires a bit of a play style. Let me think about this. Okay, I think, you know what, we're going to finalize this. We're going to completely finalize this. The cost of this add-on is that if you actually feather too much, this add-on will deem itself as useless. If you cross-map so much, this add-on will become useless. The cost of this one is you move slowly, and it's going to be really hard to catch up with anybody, and it's map reliant. You know what? I think this is good. I think that, honestly, this is really good. If you get a bad map, even with Crack Billy, these add-ons may not do as much. You go in like Larry's or Garden of Joy, like any of the other like indoor maps, I think you probably might get screwed over. The costs are stronger. This is like, I think this add-on probably is stronger than Tune Carberator. I'll probably just leave it like that. The value isn't as like actually more valuable than like a specific build with like Tune Carberator, and I think the value with Tune Carberator does way more. But like in the high skill level, you probably would see yourself using this add-on more than this add-on. I can confirm that. In the high skill level, between like these two though, okay, that's all these four are done. Now we're gonna do 8 tier. That's actually why I said maybe it's definitely a much bigger influence. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Because the disadvantage is so-called literally injuring the survivor instead of insta-downing them. But at the same time, you can actually M1 the build. Like, you can literally M1 as Billy. You're not trying to play M2 only Billy regardless. This will be lower on the S. Like, this is weaker than Doom Engravings, but I'll put it as S tier. I think this is it. Okay, this is the official tier list. Anyways though, everyone, if you guys have any questions about the tier list, feel free to post a comment below. And lastly, make sure to like and subscribe as well. Thank you all for watching.